All right, so we have entered the second half of this season with episode 5, meaning we only have 3 episodes left. Um, Hopefully there's more, but pretty much I think it's confirmed that this is 8 like last season. So,
I don't like that at all.
no.
I wanted 10.
I don't either.
I want 20 episodes.
So, in the last episode they had mentioned, or Chucky had said, that he was only allowed 10 fucks per episode. And I was curious on if that was him, or if that was the show, or if that had any truth to it at all. So I actually took a tally. I might have missed one, but I can tell you that I did count 11. And I could have missed one, but I definitely heard 11 of them. So I don't know if that's Chucky the character that's allowed 10. I would have to watch other episodes to confirm.
Yeah.
Or if that's just a joke in there. But just mentioning it, I was like, is that true? But the show definitely said 11 at least this episode. So it ain't it isn't everybody.
No.
Right? For sure. But I just thought I'd mention that. Kind of pointless. All right, Doll on Doll is the name of this episode. And we were, of course, waiting with bated breath for the last 2 weeks now, because we were afraid that Buffy was going to kill Good Guy Chucky, or Guffy.
Guffy and Buffy.
And, I had figured that they wouldn't introduce a character like this to just kill him off quick.
Sure.
Right? So, when Chucky, Good Guy Guffy, does win this fight and crucifies Buffy.
Yeah.
It just shows that part of Chucky, Charles Lee Ray, is still in him, right? He still has that killer instinct. He still has that ability.
He even says later on this episode, when Jake asks him how it felt like killing the other Chucky doll.
Yeah.
And he was like, it felt like I finally knew what I was like made for, what I was supposed to be doing.
Sure.
So that's cool though, because it's like a way for him. He's an anti-hero, right? If he can like harness his murderous nature and just murder like other evil Chucky dolls or evil people or whatever.
Yeah, you want him on your side.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what happens when he runs out of Chuckies to kill? What happens when they win the war?
Then he moves on to killing bad people. That's the next progression.
Yeah. And who says when they're bad?
I get it. It's a slippery slope. I know.
So anyway, there is a lot of strife going on between Devin and Jake now because of good old Guffy.
Good old Guffy.
And that's really Devin's part to play in this episode, is that he is angry at Jake for being okay with Chucky being good, and he doesn't know how to handle this. But we'll get back to Devin in a minute. I do like that Devin gets pinned with the crucifying of this doll in his office. I figured there had to be some kind of an explanation, or they're gonna get caught. And our priest here, or whatever the hell he's called, he sits him down with good old Leviticus,
the homophobic book of the Bible.
I think the whole Bible is
but that's the book that's like, it's bad to be gay.
That's a
like,
specific
it's evil.
passage. Yep.
Yep.
And what does he do with that?
He rips it out. And he starts to desecrate the Bible, and then he throws it at the altar and knocks over a cross. And I loved that whole scene. I thought it was really powerful. And I think that anybody who has had the experience of like being involved in the Christian church in some way while being gay or just not heterosexual has had that feeling of like, you don't feel accepted. And it feels horrible because people around you are telling you that the way you are is evil and wrong and not natural. And so his reaction and all of that was really cathartic for me. I was like cheering him on while he was ripping it out.
Yeah.
It was a great scene.
Yeah. So do you think that Lexi is done with drugs?
For now, I don't know. I could see her backsliding for sure. But I like the moment that her and Nadine have this episode, of course, because I feel like it's, she needs support. Lexi needs to have people that are, like, paying attention to whenever she's about to slip into, like, addictive behavior. And Nadine is there. I mean, she's just so sweet. Like, I love her character so much. And I'm very worried that she's going to be corrupted somehow or hurt because of how like innocent and naive she is. But I don't know. I think Lexi it could go either way for her. She could be over it, or she could have something super stressful happen that triggers her need to take drugs.
Yeah, I'm mostly in agreement with that. I do think that this is supposed to be her over it. Mm-hmm. But I can definitely see them bringing it back at some point. But I do think the intention for the moment is for her to be done with drugs. Mm. They did the drugs, they did the, withdrawals and her doing this and that, and then she has her talk with her. Now, that's not how fast you get over drug withdrawal and addiction.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's not, I don't think.
But it is a TV show.
Right.
So you can in television. Now, this happened last episode as well, but I didn't really fully mention it, but it was cool to see Glenn remembering events from Seed of Chucky and actually seeing footage from Seed. And we see multiple scenes from Seed where Tiffany switches bodies with Jennifer Tilly, and we also see a death that was committed by Glenn in Seed of Chucky. So, just I know how hated that movie is in this franchise, and I will be curious to see how this is being received, because we are going so heavy on this. These last two episodes have really, really felt like Bride and primarily, even more so, Seed sequels. Right? Like, this is really focusing in on the lore that Bride and Seed set up, and mostly Seed. And Seed is such a hated film, and now I am a fan of Seed, so I am biased here, but it's ballsy. We talked about this before. It's ballsy for them to fully embrace something that somebody hates. It's like, we talked about this before. It would be like, Disney bringing back Jar Jar Binks into freaking the Obi-Wan Kenobi series.
Sure.
It'd be like, and making him like a main character.
Yeah.
It would just be suicide.
Yeah.
For them to do it, but at the same time, it's like, this is the story he wants to tell, and I will say I do love Seed of Chucky, so it's like too. I'm a bias. My opinion is biased. For
Mine
sure.
is too.
And if it was like, freaking Freddy from Halloween Resurrection, they brought back Busta Rhymes into Halloween Ends, or the Halloween sequels or whatever.
That
I would just be like, what?
We would hate it.
Coming to you live from Dangertainment.
Oh my gosh.
I'd just be like, oh no. But there's people out there that would be like excited, so we're those people in this instance.
Yeah, we're just biased with this because I love Bride and Seed so much, and I'm just really happy with the characters that we're getting this season and where the story seems to be headed. But yeah, I guess I'm curious for the people that hated Bride and Seed, like how they feel about this season.
Yawny.
You're
Very
so
yawny
yawny.
right
You're
now.
like,
I don't know why I
I'm so
am.
tired.
I don't know.
This is like a really exciting episode too. There's so much that happened.
I know. I'm not excited. It makes it look like I am, but I'm tired for some reason.
It's okay.
Anyway, so I also think that we could see some backlash or like a lot of people not happy with how Good Guy Chucky is being shown to us, with him being shown as like, or portrayed as like a child, a baby.
Yeah.
And Nadine and Jake are kind of coddling him, and he's acting like a child, and they're like, what the hell is this? Chucky's a murderer. Like, I don't want to see this shit. This is just shitting on Chucky's legacy. I could definitely see that happening. I mean, you hear a lot of that with Halloween Ends and how they disrespected Michael Myers in that movie and this and that. So I feel like those same people who hold this stuff so high and like see it as sacrilegious to make any changes to the franchise. I could definitely see that, but do I really give a shit? Not really.
Yeah.
But I'd be curious.
I'd be curious too, but I feel like one of the things that's so great about the Chucky and like the Child's Play franchise is that he is pretty different from like Michael or Jason, right? Like he has a personality. It's what makes it interesting, and I think that the show, especially with this season, is exploring kind of all those avenues that could make it, really expand the universe and the lore of Chucky. Because, breaking him off into all these different fragments really lets you just kind of go down, like, so many different avenues. And there's so much that you can do with it. And I think that's really exciting. I don't think that it's bad or wrong to have the good guy Chucky be childlike. I think it makes sense for him to be like this. And, I mean, he's being reborn, especially with his baptism and everything. Which I will say I like... how that's kind of, we just watched Dahmer on Netflix, and it's like really shocking to think that he became like a born again Christian and was like, believing that he was saved and all of his sins were washed away by the blood of Christ. And I just think that's total bullshit. So it's really kind of funny to see Chucky in the same way. Although in this situation, I get both sides. I get Jake and Devin, like where they're coming from. I think that Jake is really trying to like use this good guy Chucky to help keep his like hopes up, and like keep him from just totally crumpling under the weight of like nihilism and like everything sucks and like all Chuckies are evil. So I get that perspective, and then of course I get Devin and Lexi with like, this is, a fragment of an evil murderer who has killed like almost all of our families. And we shouldn't give him a second chance, no matter like what it seems, how it appears that he's acting or how he's changed. So I really like all of that going on with Devin and Lexi and good guy Guffy and Jake. I think it's really interesting.
So we get the return of Jennifer Tilly in this episode.
I know.
The real Jennifer Tilly.
Oh my goodness.
Who is stuck in the body of the Tiffany doll. Or the, what was it? Bride. What?
God.
It was making me
Why did I forget it?
Yeah. I always forget.
Mary? Is it Mary? Wedding Bell.
Wedding Bell.
Oh my God, Mary? I don't know what that was.
I don't know.
Mary, wedding bells?
Because
we just got married?
We did just get married.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we got Jennifer Tilly actually returning her character inside the Wedding Bell doll that we know is Tiffany. Her head wound has been stitched up, and she has been doing her bills and her taxes, and also voicing Bonnie on Family Guy because she can do that remotely.
Yeah,
and
they
doesn't
don't need
have
to
to
see
come
her.
in to the office. So that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
I was loving hearing that they actually addressed that Jennifer Tilly is on Family Guy, and that Tiffany, the real Jennifer Tilly, is voicing the character in that universe. So that was really funny to me, and I was curious on if they would, bring it up. So that was great. And we get to see the Glenn doll.
Oh my gosh, we got to see the Glenn doll.
Which,
that was really, really cool.
I mean, I can pretty much guarantee you that Glenn doll is going to come to life in this
100%.
show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Like, why else introduce it? Just to, like, try to get Glenda to remember, but for what reason? So that they can all be a family again?
No, I do think it's going to come into play. I think that doll is going to be moving and inhabited by somebody.
Because Jennifer Tilly is dead and gone now.
Yeah.
Tiffany Valentine has ditched that persona, left it behind, burned down the house, and she's embraced her role as Tiffany. She wanted to be Jennifer Tilly. She tried to be Jennifer Tilly. She's not Jennifer Tilly.
No.
And, she has her breaking moment with Glenn. And she's just like, I'm Tiffany Valentine, and I'm your goddamn mother. Like,
so good.
which is true.
Yeah.
I mean, Jennifer Tilly is not Glenn and Glenda's mother.
No.
Right? It's Tiffany. And Tiffany is back. She's not trying to pretend anymore.
Yep.
And I like that. I like that we're done with Jennifer Tilly. Even though Jennifer Tilly is still in the body of the wedding bell doll.
Right.
Now, does Jennifer Tilly want out of the show? And are they going to... I can definitely see this. I think what will happen, my prediction, is that Jennifer Tilly will switch back into her body, and that Tiffany Valentine will get trapped in the Tiffany doll again. And I think that Glenn or Glenda will also get transferred back into the Glenn or Glenda doll, and both personalities will be in there, and that you are going to see the reunion of the original core family of just Chucky, Tiffany, and Glenn.
Yeah, I think that's a good prediction, and I do think that's where maybe this season is headed.
Yeah, I think that's how it will end.
Yeah, I think it'll be the end of the season. I hope so too, because I think that's really cool. I want to see them reunited all together.
I like that they addressed the fact that, she didn't steal Jennifer Tilly's body. She swapped into it. It very much specifically says when she's doing it, like, and switch. So she's switching with her. She's not like just Jennifer Tilly goes away. Right. It's she's switching her. So the fact that we actually bring the original Wedding Bell Tiffany doll back with Jennifer Tilly still in there is awesome.
Super cool. Super, super cool.
Very wonderful to see that actually done in here. Seeing little Guffy feeling bad about his wicked ways of the past, and this is what I was saying, like, some people I don't think they're gonna be okay with this, but that isn't Chucky.
No,
that's the thing you need to remember. Right, that's not Chucky. Chucky's the evil little son of a bitch who's killing people, and you got plenty of them in this show. Right, so if you want a Chucky, there's 70 to choose from, but if you want one different one, I know people are just terrified of change and trying something new. But there is this one good guy I mean, if you have 100 different Chuckies, one of them being on their side, it makes perfect sense to me. It's like, we've seen this before where there's clones or whatever, and one changes sides, and
Sure.
it's like, they're on our side now.
That's a super common trope, and I like it. I think that it spices things up, and also, even if you just take an evil person, not all of them is going to be horrendous. There might be some sliver in there that is good. So I like that Guffy, even though he's been brain bleached to be this, like, it stuck with him. It's not like it was something that he kind of broke out of. But it does make me think that maybe his brainwashing will wear off at some point. Like, perhaps he'll see something or somebody will say something to him that will kind of, make him, it's like the Clone Wars,
Sure.
We'll see, though.
Yeah. I mean, I can definitely see that happening. We have that going on. I mean, you could see something like with Nika, where she sees blood.
That's what I was thinking.
And she kind of flips back to Chucky, but there isn't two souls in that body. There's just one, and that one has been flipped. But as you said, it could be like the Clone Wars or the Bad Batch.
Right, well, yeah.
Where, they kind of all have a similar mind, and they try to do good. But then, there is this inhibitor chip in them. Now, Chucky doesn't have an inhibitor chip like the clones do, so I don't know. Maybe he won't struggle with it. Maybe he will. I don't know. I could see them going down that route, but it would suck, right? It's kind of like in Buffy the Vampire Slayer when Angel's good and then he's bad and then he's good and then he's bad, and it's just like, and that happens plenty in any one of these shows where you've got the bad guy turns good, and then there's episodes where they are made to look bad or they're turned bad again, and then they have to wrestle with, like, should I have ever trusted them in the first place?
Sure.
And it's like, it's always an uphill battle.
Yeah.
When you do come to the other side. Same thing happens with Spike later on in that show as well. So yeah, I don't know. We shall see. But the thing we did see is something I called episodes and episodes ago, that the nun would eventually see Chucky as Christ, as some kind of Christ-like figure. I mean, when she said, I see the face of God in him or whatever, I was like, oh, yeah. Chucky's gonna turn this chick to his side, and she's gonna actually, like, worship him like he's a god. Yeah. And here we go, exactly as I had said. So, I also had mentioned, and I will continue on this, I do think the woman who plays this character is clearly a very attractive woman. And she's all under the whole garbs and
the nun's habit.
What's it called?
A habit.
A habit.
A habit.
She needs to ditch that habit. A habit.
I think so. I'm not Catholic, but that's what I thought they were called.
Oh.
Nun's habit.
I guess. It's a habitat.
It's a habitat of nuns.
Anyway, so yeah, I think she's gonna ditch her little habit, her little friggin'
little
costume.
Yeah.
And I think she's gonna embrace. He's gonna be like, "What is this? Get rid of this shit," right? And she's gonna be all sexified. I think she's gonna don some slutty outfit or something, and whatever, and show off her bod and all this stuff. I have a feeling that's coming at some point. And we also get the reveal that Dr. Mixter, no, not the one from Halloween 2, even though the first episode in this season is called Halloween 2. Maybe that was a wink. That, hey, the main villain is someone who's a character name from Halloween 2. We find out that she is working with Chucky.
The Colonel.
Now, well, this Chucky is the Colonel, whichever
Yeah.
Chucky this is. And he has Andy.
Yep.
And he's torturing him by cutting pieces of him off. Now, this, of course, goes back to when Andy is torturing a Chucky head. Mm-hmm. This thing, I'm assuming, is getting some kind of vengeance for that, but I think he just wants to hurt Andy anyways. Andy didn't even have to do anything to him, and he would have been doing this. So, now, who is Dr. Mixter? Now, we know that Charles Lee Ray, as a child, went to this very school.
That's right.
Right? He lived there when it was an orphanage. And if you think about the time period that we're in 2020, I think, because in the first season, I think it's 2021. And this is 6 months later or something. We'll just say it's 2022, like it is.
Yeah.
I didn't know if there was enough time jump to say it's the next year if we're still in 2021. It doesn't really matter. It's not that much of a difference in time. So, how old would Charles Lee Ray be now? How old is Tiffany Valentine now? Mm-hmm. Well, we look at the actress, or we look at the actor. Jennifer Tilly is in her 60s. And Brad Dourif, I would assume, has got to be in his late 60s or early 70s at this point. He was probably a 30-year-old man in in the late 80s. Mm-hmm. So he's got to be 60 some odd years or older in this show at this point. This Dr. Mixter chick looks like she's about late 60s.
Yeah.
Mid 60s. Late 60s, I guess.
Uh-huh.
So she'd be his age-ish. So I was thinking at first, like, oh, maybe she was like a nun there, and they kind of formed this bond, and she became like his godmother, because they were doing that with Chucky, Nadine and Jake, and I was like, oh, well, maybe that's what they're gonna do here. But I'm looking at her age, and I'm thinking, she's a little young for that compared to what Chucky would be. So I think they did go there together, right? I think that I think she's like the original Tiffany. I think this was like his high school girlfriend, so to speak.
First love. And
she has kind of always, what was it? There's a phrase. Always, there's a phrase I'm trying to think of. But basically is always yearned or something after him, right?
Oh no.
Fire burned right for him or something, or no, doesn't matter.
No, I know it. I don't know the phrase, but there's a word.
So
that I'm thinking of.
So I do think that, yeah, I'm assuming maybe she's like the original Tiffany, and then Tiffany's gonna show up and is gonna be like, "Who's this bimbo?" Right? Like, and there's
lover.
Okay, there's gonna be like, now this girl can't hold a candle to Jennifer Tilly physically, right?
Sure.
Like appearance wise, like Jennifer Tilly's clearly like much more attractive, and so there wouldn't be much there. But I could definitely see, because they do have this broken relationship currently, and I could definitely see Tiffany coming in and seeing Chucky with another woman,
sure,
who he was like in love with at one point before her,
and her freaking out.
Now, in Bride of Chucky, doesn't Tiffany or somebody mention like an ex-girlfriend from his past? I swear they talk about this in the trailer. After they killed the goth kid played by Alexis Arquette, they're like, and it might even be when he's like trapped in the crib or whatever before he electrocutes her and she becomes Tiffany. I swear there's talk of some girl before her. I almost want to throw on Bride of Chucky
to see
and just fast forward to that scene, because I swear they discuss some other woman or other women And I wonder if her name is mentioned. I don't
mean,
expect them to be like, he's like, oh, you know, and blah mixter. Because the mixter thing is clearly from Halloween. But maybe back then it was a Halloween homage. I don't know, but I'm telling you, I'd have to look.
Because I feel like
Bride of Chucky.
I wouldn't remember it in that scene. I would remember it.
You just watched it.
I know, but I would think that it would be more like, like when they're in the car before they get to the hotel.
Before they get married?
Yeah.
I don't know.
But that's we
that would be interesting if that gets brought up, like, oh, your original girlfriend, your first girlfriend, or whatever.
Sure.
And then Tiffany comes in jealous, and they fight to the death, and she's like, and then this is when they, she works with her, and they swap bodies, and then the Tiffany doll kills Dr. Nixter.
I can definitely see her being some type of ex-girlfriend of his, for sure. I thought at first, like, maybe she was somebody that had adopted him or, like, a foster parent or something.
No, she's just
but
not
she's
old
not
enough.
old
I
enough.
don't think.
Unless
maybe.
she's supposed to be, like...
Maybe, even if she's,
like,
5 years older than him, she could be, like, a nun that was going there.
Sure. It's... I don't know. I think those are all... I think that the girlfriend is probably the strongest guess that we have right now.
She's just not, like she's not sexy or, like, an older, attractive woman. She's, like, not playing that at all.
Which is what you would think he would be into.
Correct.
So
that's the thing. Like, where the only reason I mention that is because of the whole scenario of, like, Tiffany versus some original Tiffany. And it's like...
I think that it's not going to be her. It's going to be the nun that becomes sexy and bad girl versus
agree.
Tiffany. I think that's really where the showdown's going to be.
I don't know if that... Maybe. I thought about that too, but maybe. I could definitely see that being his new love interest.
Yeah.
Sure. Because she's, young and hot and whatever. And then she's like, meh. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. Let's see. Meg Tilly is dead.
Yep.
She not only was cut up and had her throat slit, but her body is burned. Mm-hmm. So Meg Tilly is dead. God rest her soul. Now, in Seed of Chucky, if I remember correctly, obviously Chucky has a horrible nickname for Glenn, but isn't Tiffany's nickname for Glenn Sweet Face? I feel like
I thought so
because she calls her that in this.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Or them. Sorry.
No, yeah, I think you're right. Sweet Face, but
I think that's accurate. These are movies I need to watch again. It's been a long time. But you rewatched Bride of Chucky.
I did rewatch Bride of Chucky.
No, that doesn't have those things in it. But anyway, yeah. What is that? Is that a word?
Colo?
What the hell?
I don't know.
I don't know what I was gonna write there.
Colonel, probably.
Oh, I was gonna write Colonel, and I just stopped. Oh, yeah.
How did I spell it?
How do I spell it? Because I know it doesn't spell. It doesn't.
It's like colonel.
Yeah.
Colonel.
Yeah.
Colonel.
Did I have it right at least at first?
I thought it was COLO.
That's what I thought.
NEL. Isn't that
Colonel?
I
think that is it.
Which is like what the fuck?
Colonel.
Why does the COLO? Why does that make the colonel sound? What language?
No clue.
French?
Colonel.
I don't understand that. I've always been confused by that. I've always hated it.
That's why I stopped.
You're like...
I was writing and I was like, I can't remember how this word's spelled because it makes no sense.
Yeah.
But I did get the first 4 letters right, I think. So, and I always thought the villain's name in Halloween 3 was Colonel.
Yeah, Colonel
Cochran. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's Connell.
Yeah, I know.
But you know what? His name is said how Colonel's spelled.
Yes, Connell, exactly.
So I'll give myself some credit for that. Anyways, so yeah, doll on doll. I thought I was gonna see some friggin' porn. I thought I was gonna see
That's
some
the
like
joke.
yeah, some sex.
The doll on doll.
Some doll sex. I already saw that in Bride.
Yeah.
So, I guess I've already got it.
You already got it.
Because he's anatomically correct.
The pipes are working.
What do you guys think? What do you think's going to happen? Do you think we're on to anything here? I mean, I've been right a good amount.
Yeah.
So, I think I'm going to continue to keep being right.
Yeah, I think you should.
We got... I should?
Yeah, you should.
I should? I should be right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just do that.
Okay.
Like it's my choice.
Yeah.
You should. You should just be right.
You should just be correct.
I'll just let them know.
Yeah.
If I'm wrong, change it because I should be right.
Yeah.
Yeah. 3 episodes left.
No.
That sucks.
I don't.
I really feel like we're just getting going.
I do too. I don't want it to end.
If we were binging this, like if we just waited till it was all done,
oh my
it
God,
would feel like, oh wow, this just okay. So nothing happens. Even though stuff happens, it's too quick.
Way too quick.
It is too quick, and it's funny because 8 episodes, they're about 45 minutes apiece, which means every 2 episodes is a film, which means that you get 4 films per season. And we used to only get 1 film every few years. And it was like, that felt like enough. But we're getting greedy. We're getting like 4 films a year now, lengthwise.
No.
We've gotten, 8 Chucky films in 2 years, basically.
I don't care. I'm greedy.
And it's just...
I want more.
It's not enough because of how they tell the story. It just doesn't feel... There just needs to be more.
But this episode, I mean... I've loved all of the episodes, but I do like that we jump between, the school as well as everything going on with Jennifer Tiffy. I like that we've been bouncing back.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm very much pleased that we didn't just abandon the Tiffany Glenn storyline for this episode. Now we did abandon Nika and Kyle and Glenda storyline.
That'll come back.
Who's she texting in the opening? When she's like, "You killed the security guard. I had to."
Yeah, Glenda.
It's Glenda, right?
Yeah, because they're like.
Yeah, I'm just making sure.
Like Glenn. Yeah.
Yeah, you had the same dream.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I was like 100%.
Yeah.
That was 100%.
You should just be right.
I was.
Yeah, you were.
I was. I was just I don't know. There's 11 fucks.
Bye.
Bye.